automatically. So we don't need to worry about that. So actually we're kind of lucky because we already kind of pretty much have it in place. So all we need to do is just set it up to automatically update our text. And that's all we're doing. Now this could easily be moved from our GUI game check to the location update. So when it actually updates location, it's automatically going to do it. But doing it this way is actually a lot safer. So now we have all that done. Let's do a quick test, make sure everything works like we expect it to. New game, Paladin. And there it is. You are near wandering, just like the old one. That's it. That's simple. It's all it's going to say because it's based off of old locations and things of that nature. And I did go the wrong way with the Y on it, but it does work. It does set up as if we add different locations to this map, we can actually update it and change it. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that here in just a second, just to show that it's working like we intend. I want to fix this though. 3. Okay. So the actual locations are actually saved over here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right here, location related code. Here they are. This is the ones from the old one. All we want to do is go ahead and update it, and we're going to mess around with it a little bit. At least I am a little bit. So I'm going to call this test 1, and I will call this test 2, and I will call this test 3. So we're going to change where it's at. Now the X, Y, and the radius is pretty obvious. The X is where it is on the tile map. The Y is also where it is on the tile map, and the radius is how big of an area does this location count for. So basically setting up its bounds. So we want this to be located at position, we'll say tile 10 by 25, and we're going to go ahead and have it, most of the locations are 10 tiles wide. We'll go ahead and make this a nice healthy 10 tiles wide as well. The second location we're actually going to have at 30 by 40, and we'll also make it 10 tiles wide. The last location for our test that we're going to do is actually we're going to put at tile. How about tile 40 by 10. And we'll also make that 10, just for the sake of argument. So we save that. Remember that wonderful get location information pretty much is right. It's in here somewhere. At least I thought it was. Well, no, it's somewhere else. Sorry, never mind. It's in here. Right here under check locations. Actually, I think is where it does it. Yes. It does. Right here this is where it checks location, gets information where you're at, and if you're not in one of the locations that's in our database or what we have, then it puts wandering. Very simple. Thought it was there. And this is going to reset soon, so I'll probably have to wait a second. I'll go ahead and let this reset because it's going to stop here in just a second. Alright, painless. See what happens when you pay attention? It's very nice. So we'll go ahead and go in. As you can see, boom, there it is. You are near test 2. You can also see some scenery is shown up because, well, the old locations from that and stuff was set for that. So it's actually going to start spawning some stuff. We are near location test 2. And it looks like scenery collision is broken somewhat for NPCs. And it looks like it's really broken for me, but they're not positioned right anyway. It's okay. So there we go. See, now I'm near test 1. Now I'm wandering. Now I'm at test 2. Very basic. We're just setting locations. I go up here and come over here. Oh, now I'm at test 3. So there you go. There's now our location display. Very simple stuff. Obviously, senior collision isn't working like it's supposed to, but then again, it's not supposed to at the moment. Gotta love bugs, though. So there we go. That was just for an example's sake. Just for example's sake. I'm just adding numbers here so we don't have that issue right now. It's just for testing reasons. What did I do? I hit something. Probably shouldn't have. What the heck happened? Oh, I did not want that. Because locations will be a lot more in-depth than actually in the map info. So you can actually set them in there. We can do a lot more with locations that way. Not only can we put different areas for like cities and such for spawning, things like that, but we can actually specify like spawn points or trigger points and stuff like that. So now that's pretty much done. It's pretty much set up, it's pretty much in there, and it will update its information properly. So next would go ahead and be the compass. The compass we've already decided that we want to do as a sprite sheet. And we have 8 directions that we do. So we have north, south, east, west, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So we have all 8 directions. So we will go ahead and need to make a sprite sheet that handles all 8 directions. Now, before I do that, I need to double check how big our overlay is. The viewport that actually renders the tile screen is actually a viewport. If I took away the overlays, you would see blue, because it's just that's all it's rendering. It's not rendering the actual tiles. So what we have here is a top gap and a bottom gap for that gap in order to make up that difference. So you can see at the top gap is 25, the bottom gap 95. The reason I look at that is so I know how big the actual overlay at the top is, and it's probably around 25 or 30, maybe a little bigger. So when I go into Photoshop here, let me change over to pixels. I know the width is not going to be 800 because we don't want to take the entire part. We just want to take a bit of it. And I think 100 should be plenty. So we'll do 100. And then, of course, the height we saw was 25. So we'll go ahead and do the whole 25. Oops, I did not want to do it as 8-bit. Let me do that again. There we go. Now, this is just so I can get a basic idea of how I want to make what it's going to look like. For now, we're going to go ahead and make a simple compass color that makes sense, I guess. And I guess a black kind of makes sense. And we'll just fill that in as our background. To make it pretty and everything is not a big deal right now. These are templates. These are just graphic files in place for now that can be replaced later with more proper ones. It's just for use and for testing reasons. Ooh, shiny background. So now we want to go ahead and start adding text. I think a yellowish is a pretty good idea. Let me change the hue here. A pretty good idea for putting up a north, south, east, west, whatever. So now we'll just go ahead and put in there. Now we get to select our font size, all this stuff. What's nice about doing it this way instead of doing it in games, we don't have to add any extra fonts, and we can do however we like our compass to look. So I want to do it not as Comsams, Eric. Let's go ahead and do some sort of fancy smancy compass thing. How about we'll do elephant. That sounds good. And we will keep it like it is. We'll make it bigger. Not that big. That's a little too big. 18 is good. And we'll have it just like that. So, and I'm going to go ahead and change it to strong so it really stands out. And there it is. Very basic. You know, I could obviously type in the entire word north. That's fine. In fact, I think I will. I mean, what else we got to put on the compass? So, very, very basic. And now I have a basic idea of how our compass is going to look. Now I can go ahead and put it into a sprite sheet. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I know it's 100 by 25, so I can set up my sprite sheet accordingly. Since the sprite sheet, and the way we handle sprite sheets have to be a certain size, and I know we have 8 directions. So we pull up a calculator real quick, and we know it's 100. So that's our big constraint, is actually width, not height. So we can actually fit quite a bit. Now if we did a 128 sprite sheet, we could fit all 8, but they would be stacked. They would all be on top of each other.